Welcome once again to the Rogers Kakasungura YouTube channel. A big thank you for your support. If you're watching this, kindly make sure you click the subscribe button and remember to turn on your notification bell. This government, I fear, and I pray to God that a pandemic does not hit us. There is signs and symptoms of Ebola, but wherever you are, keep on praying for this country so that we are not hit by a pandemic. It will be the worst ever in the history of Kenya. I'll give a reason. The Uhuru Kenyatta, the William Ruto regime keep on abusing. Imagine, held Kenya for over 3 years when everything was at standstill. When Kenya was hit by the COVID pandemic, businesses 100% shut down. People were operating from home. Companies shut down. Transport shut down. No exporting, no importing. Kenya was 100% grounded. But Uhuru Kenyatta, this man, stood with us and held Kenya by his hands for over 3 years until we survived. And shockingly, Kenya globally remained in its position economically. May God bless Uhuru Kenyatta wherever he is. Mungu tu amubariki tu. Now here comes a government. The Kenya Kwanza government that has started warning Kenyans of a tough time and crisis just because of the USA and the Iran war. You know, when Uhuru was the president, there was COVID-19 and there was war in Ukraine. But still imagine, the cost of fuel was at 135. Haikufika hata 300. With all, from the pandemic to the Ukraine war, and still Uhuru survived our economy. Here comes Ruto, mwenye ameona tu vita ya Amerika na Iran. And Mudavadi is telling Kenyans, tighten your belt. It is going to get worse. Can we listen to what Mudavadi is telling Kenyans?
And literally few. The world has seen a number of global shocks first. There was a COVID shock. It shook the whole world. Then there was the Ukraine-Russian conflict at the beginning. Again, another shock, with the impact and implication filtering through global economies, and forcing realignment of funding by various countries to critical institutions, whether multilateral or those that are involved in aspects of research, like yourselves. And then more recently, up to now, we are still experiencing is the Middle East crisis. That's perhaps the third shock. Successive shocks, global shocks to humanity. And one thing that comes out is that we as a nation or as a people must realize that It cannot be business as usual. This is where your skills, your innovations must be brought to bear so that alternative solutions can quickly be made available to citizens, particularly those from developing countries like us. The reality is that the speed and flexibility at which your innovation can bring to bear is going to be very, very important in helping communities adjust to these global shocks. There has to be some accelerated process. Research can be painstaking, can take years, but nevertheless, it also calls for some innovative ways of trying to figure out how to accelerate the delivery of your innovations to the marketplace to help in easing some of these challenges that we face. The way I see it, for instance, is that if we are to talk of the full impact of the Middle East crisis, and today the President, I think, has issued a statement to it, I think we need to be honest with each other. The impact of that crisis is going to linger with us for much longer than we imagine. And we need to brace ourselves, and we need to start looking at how to manage some of the challenges that are ahead of us. The full impact is going to filter into our economies. Even if the war stops, the impact is still going to be there, and we are likely to feel more pressure, perhaps even within the next 3 to 4 months, within the economy. And I speak because it is important we communicate this to the people and start preparing ourselves psychologically.
Ladies and gentlemen, if the war in America and Iran is pushing this government into panic, when Uhuru survived a pandemic and a global crisis. In fact, there were 2 crises: the COVID-19 pandemic and the Ukraine war. Ruto is currently facing only war when businesses are open, Kenyans are paying taxes, people are doing businesses, and still yet is telling us to brace for more. I pray to God kwamba pandemic isituguze, kwa sababu wa Kenya, hey, you won't survive. Hii serikali ya William Ruto haitawasaidia hata kidogo. Umesikia vile Musalia anasema ati sasa tumeingia sasa crisis. Hiyo vita hata ikiisha bado tutaendelea na crisis. A clueless government that only understands on how to feed their stomachs, not how to help the ordinary citizen to overcome the crisis. When we are at the edge, tunaomba tu Mungu atunasue, kwa sababu the moment we slide into a pandemic, tuseme Ebola, hey, akimutaitana. Anyway, mimi nimewaonya mapema. If we cannot make a decision that is going to help us next year, iko shida katika taifa la Kenya. This country is going to be auctioned. Hii Kenya itafungwa, kila mtu waende Uganda, wengine waende Tanzania, wengine waende Congo, wengine waende Rwanda. If we cannot make the right choice at the ballot next year, akina waambia ukweli, if we make a mistake next year, we are doomed. We are done. Tunaisha kabisa. We are done. Mumeona status wamejangia hii mabati sijui ni ya 1500 per piece. Hii ya red. Ni hidden roof, wakatoa asbestos, wakaweka mabati ya... Anyway, God bless you ladies and gentlemen. See you in the next episode. Asanteni sana.